Okay, so a little message from me today. When I was growing up, I used to be broke. Like, I wouldn't say like dirt broke, but I used to be considerably broke. Like, I used to have no money. Not like just me personally, I mean like my family. Obviously, I was a kid. I didn't have money anyways. But when I was growing up, my family used to be broke, right? But from an outside perspective, we looked like we had some amount of money, or I don't know, like I you could say I'm like a typical suburban white boy. That's what I look like from an outside perspective, I suppose. And growing up, when I was in school, right, I used to be in a group of friends who were like very judgmental about where you came from, what you look like, how you dress, all that shit. And when I used to come to school every day, I came to school in usually the same clothes, like usually like the same shirt, same pants, same shoes, all that. I didn't have the money and I didn't have the kind of the resources to be able to dress up how I wanted to, right? I had maybe like 3 to 4 outfits and pieces I'd switch out every once in a while that I'd go through. And growing up, I didn't think much of it, but once I got into like high school and junior high, I started to notice it more. People would judge you based off of the stuff that you wear, and like I said, from an outside perspective, people used to think and judge me for having money that I didn't have. People used to judge me on the things that I wore and be like, "Oh, why you dressing up in the same clothes every day? Why you got the same beat it up shoes every day?" Cause I ain't got none. I ain't got none. But the people who I was around at the time didn't want to take the chance to actually get to know me for what I like, the truth. They just wanted to be friends with me for, I don't know, like the bare minimum, just like hang out type shit. Like, I don't know, like hang out just because, not really like hang out as friends, like just buddies, I suppose you can call it. And like I said, like people would judge me based off of the stuff that I had. And I always found that kind of weird, that you can judge someone based off of like their economic status and what they may or may not have. Like for me, look, people looking at me and saying I got money when they didn't know the truth about me having none was something that, it wasn't like a constant thought in my head, but it was more of like a weird background thought, like, oh, okay, so am I supposed to have money? Am I supposed to look like this? Am I supposed to dress like this? Meanwhile, not knowing how to deal with it, right? At the same time, I used to hang around people who were also broke, and people who had money, and they'd all dress like similar to me. You could say like some of their clothing was nicer, some of their clothing was not as nice as mine, just like different levels of beat up clothes. And like I found it weird that they would judge me based off of what I was wearing, but like they would get offended if I like made a comment about their clothes, not in like a negative way. It would just be like, oh, okay, you wearing this today, like that's a nice piece of clothing, or why you got that on today type shit. And the point of which I'm trying to make is, I find it weird that people in school, outside of school, like whatever, always have an opinion about what you could be wearing, how you looking in like your front view, and people be judging you based off of that when you don't know the background situation to that person. Like that person could look broke and have money. That person could look like they have money or be broke. And someone is capable of judging you based off of that appearance, even though they don't know anything about it. Like, I wouldn't say shit because it's not anyone's place to know like what's going on in my family, but everyone seems to have an opinion about the way I dress, or had an opinion about the way that I looked and was perceived. And I find that to be really interesting, because at the same time, like, they be doing the exact same thing and then wondering why it be happening to them, but still be able to comment on everybody else. And basically, to everyone who does that or has been through that kind of experience, you shouldn't let anyone judge you based off of what you be wearing. You shouldn't let anyone judge you based off of how you are in your life. Like, if you dress up in the same clothes every day, but you got money, that's good. You can do that all the same. If you broke but you dress up like you got money, that's fine too. But you shouldn't try to fit yourself in either of those categories. Like, act like you got it if you don't got it. Be honest with yourself, but you don't have to be honest with everybody else outside, because everybody outside shouldn't be able to judge you on that appearance. They should just take it for what it is. Okay, you wearing that today, that's cool. Everybody else who's dressing like they dress should be able to do that as well. And people should be able to just, be free to like act and be how they be. People shouldn't judge each other based off of like how they dress on a day-to-day occasion, or even like if there's a thought of if that person is broke or if that person is rich. It shouldn't matter. And people who go around being the opposite, like someone who's rich acting like they're broke for whatever clout, or just to put on a front, and the opposite too. I don't think that's right. And I think that towards those people, like, if y'all got money, good for you. If you broke, that's okay too. And you should be comfortable with that in yourself, because eventually that situation can or might change. And that's more for like rich people. For broke people, that situation will change. And that situation, if it's not changing anytime soon, like, that situation's okay. And you should know that. And you shouldn't let anyone kind of judge you for that, regardless if you are rich or if you are broke. It shouldn't matter. But that's just my 2 cents I want to put in.